Hi, I'm Jess, a survivor of chronic illness, and I'm your host for this topic talk. Now, let's talk about your first experience with grief post-trauma. With us right now is Caleb Rixon, let's call him Cal, a stroke survivor and the founder of our Genyus Community. Cal, think about your first grief that you experienced post-trauma. And in the next 1 to 2 minutes, can you please tell us what was it?
Sure. So the first grief that I experienced after my stroke, my brain injury, was really it was realizing that I had a damaged vocal cord and realizing that at the time may have been permanent. At the time of my stroke, my injury, I used my voice because I was a performer. I was a professionally trained singer. So I had a lot of attachment to my voice spiritually and then also financially because it's what I did. And so the beginning of my first grief was really that realization that voice is fragile and that mine may no longer be there. But then the second grief that I really remember was actually wheeling out of my clinical psych's office after a session we'd had, and we'd been talking about grief, and I realized in just this moment, just by myself, it's like I had no one near me and no one sort of encouraging me, and no one I was just finally alone. I had space, and I realized in that moment that I wouldn't perform again in the capacity that I had until that point. And so I feel like that was another beginning of like a quiet grief of realizing that I was no longer the person that I'd seen myself to be until that point.
Wow. That is so significant, Cal. And yeah, we appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thanks.
Now, Cal and I would love to hear from you. We'd really love you to be able to share your first experience with grief post-trauma and what that meant to you and why. Thanks, team.